Hi, everybody. My name is Elise Tretherick, and I'm the Director of Curation and Artist Relations here at Blackdove, where discovering and experiencing digital art is our top priority. Today, we welcome Backtopoints, an Istanbul-based artist duo whose practice constructs abstract presences and structures of which the parts are in constant transformation, which I personally love about your art, conversion and reformation. Separating and coming together, it's really consistent and beautiful, but ever changing, and that's why I loved your art and loved that I found you as an artist. So, as such, your work is a seamless stream of really dynamic pieces that audiences can dip into and enjoy the various stages of in between, together, apart, and all of these different stages in your art. So I'm really excited to dive in to our short interview today, and thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me in the first place.
Of course.
It's great to be here with you. This is the second time I think
Yeah.
we are talking. It's always great pleasure to meet with some with people in some spaces where we can talk about ourselves, we can talk about our art, and what's going on in the whole art world. So particularly, what is great is you are in a part of the world and I'm in a different part of the world. It's a great experience to share a space, even though we are quite far away from one another. This is the most important thing. Why it is the most important thing is because it's also behind the idea back to points. You know, the reason why we are together, with Tuna, I mean, the whole idea is not about making art, you know. This is the second thing. In the first place, what is important is to share something together, to create something together, thinking over something, discussing about the things as brothers.
Yeah.
This is very important for us, and then art takes shape. So it comes right after our being together. So this is the most important thing. This is the idea behind Back to Points because I was already, sort of international, video artist exhibiting at many international exhibitions, and Tuna was working on his own video game. And at one point, we felt that, when we are when together, we really have fun a lot, of sharing a space together, sharing a moment together.
Yeah.
I really pushed him to work together. I told him, why we aren't working together? And he joked about it. He was already bored of me. He told me, and he didn't want to see me. Okay, then we are forming the duo. And we talked about the name, and then because we are using a very specific program, and the basic idea behind that software, it's all about points. You have to understand how points are working in that program, how geometry function in that program. This is the most important attribute of that program. And we said, we are struggling with that program. Why we aren't given the name of back to points? It's like being going to basics of something. So, and then
Nice.
we gave that name. Since I think it was around 2020, we formed the duo, and it coincided with really the start of the NFT boom. It was very
Wow.
interesting. Yes, that
Sweet.
was the thing, and mostly my idea then is to focus on contemporary art. That was the thing. And Tuna talk about, there's something called NFT, and people are selling their digital works
Hmm.
as NFT. I told him, "Are you sure about that?" It's because as a video artist, I know how it's difficult to sell, your art. I know
Yeah.
so many great video artists. Even then they were struggling with selling their artworks. So I told him, man, uh, is it a joke? No, he said, and then we researched about NFT,
Hmm.
and we started applying to some spaces like foundation, noun origin, and then the rest. And we sold so many artworks on these
Amazing.
places on Nifty Getaway and Binance when it was its height. Particularly we were very active at Binance before the decline. But the main idea then was to focus on contemporary rather
Hmm.
than being a part of the NFT scene.
Hmm.
So our paths just crossed then.
That's that's awesome and just perfect timing.
Yeah.
Congratulations on so many sales, and the NFT boom was really booming. That's amazing. It's how has that changed now? Where do you sell your artwork? I know you just became a approved and verified artist on Blackdove, but where are you currently selling some other works like NFTs in general? And how is that going? How has it changed since like 3 years ago?
The thing is that still, I mean, we don't call ourselves as NFT artists.
Hmm.
Artists is something else,
Totally.
because being NFT artist is like using some tools related to the blockchain technologies.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to really clarify that because we see that there are so many people calling themselves as NFT artists, AI artists. I mean, this is wrong in the
Hmm.
first place.
They're just artists
Just
selling on a different with a different vessel of purchase.
yes, we are digital artists.
Totally.
We are creating 3D based simulations and we are selling our artworks both in some NFT
Yeah.
markets. Also, we are selling our artworks to some collectors.
Hmm.
But one day, if we are to create a sort of blockchain, really real blockchain based artworks, then maybe we can say, okay, this is real NFT artwork.
Hmm.
We have to clarify that. So this is a issue I think that has to be solved. Uh, Currently, the NFT is in decline. I have to say I'm happy with that. Why? Because with the boom of the NFT, so many people who weren't artists or weren't working in, media content creation fields
Hmm.
came to that market,
Hmm.
right? And interestingly, they acted like they're artists. But what happened with the decline of the NFT? Now I see some tweets. They are now going back to their old jobs. What
Yeah.
happened? You're an artist, you know,
Hmm.
can go on your life with presenting your artworks in different mediums.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can work in commercial jobs. For instance, Blackdove. What Blackdove presents us is to a space where we can come together with our audience, right? It could be based on blockchain technologies. No, it could be some other technologies.
Hmm.
But we are going with, what we are doing. So, in that respect, I'm happy with that. Also, uh, there is always a balance in markets.
Yeah.
So, so many people came and trillions of, tens of trillions of, NFTs have been all around. Economy is not working that way.
Hmm.
That's so basic. Now it was inescapable.
Yeah.
So many collectors, I really respect them. Still, they are buying artworks. We have to respect them a lot, but there is a border. that they have to be careful about. And now
Yeah.
we are testing these borders for maybe the last 2 years. So I think it is going to come a point where everything will be settled,
Hmm.
and then we are going to see real NFT artists and some digital artists who will be using these spaces properly. That's a good thing in that respect.
Yeah.
You know, of course, it has affected us, but I respect that. No problem with that. Because, I mean, I have been producing artworks for more than 20 years. More than I work as a video editor, I work as a motion graphic artist,
Awesome.
I work as a 3D artist,
Yeah.
and 2009 I have been creating my own artworks,
Mm.
as video works and now animations.
Yeah.
So there's no problem with that. Of course, there will be, increases and decreases. It's
Yeah.
normal. So, but if you believe in yourself, why you are leaving that space and you are going to a different space to do something else? Of
Yeah.
course, sometimes I understand, I see some artists, really they feel that they have to leave the art. But this is something else. But what these people, you know, calling themselves as NFT artists is something else.
Hmm.
And only thing I can tell them bye bye.
Is bye bye. I thought as a digital artist when I was going to college, and when I graduated in 2014, there was only um, trying to work for a motion studio or commercial company. There wasn't a place for me. There were just Behance to appreciate art, and that was the nicest place that you could kind of go. And
Yeah.
some of these other, sales channels, but I never imagined the possibility of earning money in an artistic way, or people would take that seriously. And it's amazing that NFTs helped that happen and helped the appreciation of digital art. But so many people see digital art and just say that's an NFT, and just automatically think that. Or I've just had it a ton of times where so much of what we do, a much larger portion, is the licensing, where it's a 1 year license and soon to be like incremental time license ownership, like 3 months, 6 months, 12 month, and unlimited. Um, but it only lives on the Blackdove platform, and you can buy with a credit card and just make it an easy form of purchase, because so many people. You can also sell NFTs on the platform, but so many people that are just entering the digital art space have a fear of overcoming the technology, or having their money stolen, or like hitting a wrong link, and there's no like somebody that you call at the bank to help you with that. So creating different forms of ownership so people can appreciate digital art while we're in this um, increasing acceptability and understanding, and want to pair it with traditional art in spaces like commercial spaces and hotels and homes, and have like an ever-changing canvas of art that you can appreciate so many works of the same artist or multiple artists. I think is a
Right.
really beautiful thing, and more appreciation is coming into that. And that's why selling in both sides, I think, is great, because almost every artist that I know of in the NFT space was on every platform that you could imagine. But also, like, I wanted to ask you, creates different artwork for like different blockchains or different forms of ownership. Some people create a certain kind of art for the Tezos community, and some for their Polygon community and Ethereum and so on. Do you kind of stick with one form and you're like, this is how I want to do it, I want to do it contemporary? Or do you, because I know that you've been on a variety like Foundation and NFT Gateway and others, do you create a different kind of art for each blockchain that you're selling on?
No, we never. Actually, initially, we didn't think about that.
Mm.
Only thing is to create our artworks.
Yeah.
At one point, we found ourselves in a position where, we have to catch up with the boom,
Hmm.
because we were selling a lot, and then we were out of our artworks. So it was all about money, and this wasn't a good thing,
Yeah.
because all of a sudden you feel yourself. like rather than an artist,
Mm-hmm.
you are something else because there's money over there. You have to catch it. This is not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And many people at one point were like that. So that's why I believe that if NFT is going to live, that market has to adapt some how contemporary art markets work,
Mm-hmm.
their establishment, but
Mm-hmm.
not all the that big white walls, and
Yeah.
some guard, you know, uh, but the quality. That's a very important
Yeah.
thing, because I mean when you produce so many artworks, you will sacrifice quality.
Yeah.
That's one basic thing. So now, for instance, recently, after we stopped ourselves, okay, we said that we are not going to create new artworks for NFT markets, and for some time, I have been working on an artwork based on data. I said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
now we are going to create a new space for ourselves where we work on data-based artworks, and these will be in a very long form, like in the least 5 minutes, between 3 and 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe 30, 40 minutes long. So it gives us a space where we can think about, consider about, contemplate upon many things. Of course, money is very good and it really attracts, but with some sacrifice, and actually, this is not a good for artists.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, and this was a very bad thing for us. These spaces force us to create not for real artworks, but for their demands. So, but that's why I'm saying now the whole market is like it's settled. Maybe now real NFT
Mm-hmm.
artists and some digital artists. I mean, after working for 2 months, 3 months, okay, this is my artwork, and I believe that it's worth putting on foundation, or
Yeah.
maybe it's more suitable for Tezos. Who knows?
Yeah.
But there will be a space for consideration,
Yeah.
So this is, I believe, important because all of the artists in the NFT market
Mm-hmm.
found themselves in a position where they weren't thinking about anything. They were just creating artworks,
Yeah.
and we were all going after money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is one of the reasons of the collapse, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So with the whole balance in the market.
Yeah.
So, uh, but I think Blackdove's position is more suitable for us. Why? It gives us a constant gallery space for us. So, by licensing our artworks, so many people across the globe could, rent our
Mm-hmm.
artwork
Mm-hmm.
for a
Yeah.
year, maybe for a shorter period of time, and then show our works on their spaces, be
Mm-hmm.
it, a sort of festival, be it, a commercial space. That's
Yeah.
really great. In that respect, it's very important. Of course, there is a contribution of NFT on that. I respect that. But I think, I mean, but for NFT boom, I think also it was the time for digital art. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Totally.
many people is like, but for NFT, we wouldn't see that, digital art wouldn't be that appreciated. I don't
Agreed.
take that.
Agreed.
I don't take. I don't take that. In that respect, I believe that, spaces, the spaces like Blackdove, has an important part on that.
Well, that's great to hear, and I think that the more you kind of understand what people want and where their money is going to go, I think that it's really smart to create incremental time ownership for art rental because so many places especially with the new generations that are coming that always want new. always having new playlists and new collections and new artwork to be able to utilize is important to creating mood and just a want for different, especially with like seasonal clients that a lot of hotels or corporate facilities have for festivals and things like that. And I think it's really interesting to be able to expand ownership in that way with, I want to see if I like this in my home, for shorter periods of time, and being able to keep the artist still making revenue in every step of the way. So I think that that's really important. And what we're moving into is really trying to appreciate artists, create that long-lasting relationship, and expand the idea of digital art ownership for consumers and collectors across the world. I know that I see your artwork and I feel like it's like spontaneous but consistent. How do you, and even in paid jobs where you're paid to create something that's new for this client, how do you plan your spontaneity of creation with like these planned aspects that you have of the job that you're doing?
Mostly it comes out with a specific idea. I mean, even if our artworks look very abstract, it's like when we sit before a computer and we start doing something on a software, and when we reach something, okay, we say that's it. It is not the case. For instance, when we look at one of our artworks called Ouroboros, as Tuna was reading a story about that ancient serpent, that serpent symbolizes birth, rebirth, and death. He was thinking about, how we can, transform it an artwork.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it should be abstract without losing, that whole idea of, holy cycle represented by that animal. So he sketched, and we talk about that a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and that form, circling around,
Yeah.
also these some particles simulated by a special program, it came out. But until we reach its last form, we did so many different render tests rather
Yeah.
than, okay, of course there, there's always a randomization process.
Yeah.
That's normal. But for us, there is always, I mean, we read a lot. I'm already a professor at a university. I'm teaching motion graphics and
Wow.
animation. So it mostly for us, it comes out. Tuna also reads a lot, uh, even though he doesn't hold that kind of position, or he's more free than me. So, I mean, mostly our projects come out of our readings, and our discussions, and then, we do some sketches. Of course, I mean, directions could change. Normal. For instance, another artwork, past, present, and future. We were, I think, after watching the anime series of Matrix, we were thinking about, how we can represent a system,
Mm-hmm.
a work, a presence, how we can represent that. I mean, as if whole parts are connected to one another at the same time, even if a part is very small, minor to compared to another very big part,
Mm-hmm.
they are affecting one another, and it's like without one part, I mean, the audience will think that this system wouldn't work. So we thought about that, and then after so many sketches, that form came out. I mean, you should really see the initial sketches. I mean,
Yeah.
there is huge difference between the initial sketches and the last sketches, and this is normal. And as I said in the beginning of our conversation, uh, all of our talks really give us a lot of pleasure. Actually, this is the most fun part of our being together. Of course, the last form, that's great because sometimes we found ourselves yelling each other a lot, because since tonight I'm here, and it is not that easy. And sometimes that's why I have to travel to my hometown to figure out and resolve the problems. So this is understandable, but still, it's so much fun to work together.
Do you
So
do you use for your complex data, do you code it personally? What kind of data are you inputting for, I guess, the randomization? If it's not
Mostly
correct.
we are doing, but I mean, it is not like we are raw coding, because sometimes we can't solve some problems, and the program we are using it uh, it is a section where create some small expressions you
Sure.
can enter and you can solve your problems. Except for one work, we haven't done very hard coding. Only for one work, we did a lot. So in that respect, I mean, since we have changed our direction now, and currently we are working on a project where we are visualizing the whole earthquake data in Turkey, since it was first time recorded in 1900. So, I mean, there are so many data, I mean,
Yeah.
uh, heading like crust, landforms, tectonic plates, movements, fault lines, surface rupture,
Yeah.
time of the earthquake. There are so many
Totally.
data. Yes, but uh, as soon as I talk about that, people right away ask us, whether or not we are using AI. No, we are not using AI.
Yeah.
Without using AI, you
Hmm.
can still, create data-based artworks. Maybe because of, the trending artworks now all over the world. Because I see some artists, even though they don't use AI at all, they say, okay, they use AI to train data.
Yeah.
But when I say without using that, still you can create that artwork. We feel that, I mean, if we really, because Tuna is already a programmer,
Hmm. Okay.
very able of programmer. If we really feel that, we have to use AI, we can write our own AI system
Sure.
without, to think. But
Yeah.
so far, we feel that we don't need it, right?
Yeah.
So uh, we are open to that, and we are respecting a lot those people. And also, I have to mention that the AI artwork aren't a new thing. Since the 70s, there are so many great artists
Yeah.
really using these technologies with
Yep.
very capable scientists. So, I mean, we have to be very careful about as we are talking about these kind of things. And I also believe that, prompting is not being an AI artist. AI artist is something else, and this very important thing. Also, it's not an easy thing. I
Hmm.
respect these because I see some people doing so many great things. I
Yeah.
believe that they have to name themselves differently.
You mean
Who
between like a generative artist that inputs versus a like cartoon style car with Mickey Mouse and Picasso, something like that.
Yes, yes. I respect those people coding a lot, and I know some people
Yeah.
they are doing so great stuff. I also
Hmm.
respect some generative artists inputting, but I believe that so that they respect the real AI artists, I believe that they have to name themselves differently, because also. Uh, because of a sense, as soon as I say, I am working on a data-based artwork, people say, so you are working with the AI. No, I'm not working.
It's two totally different things, like coding and using
Yes,
data compared to that is
training,
very different.
controlling, but to get and to reach a sort of visuals, still you can manipulate so many systems
Yeah,
without touching the AI.
yeah,
We have to be careful about using our words.
yeah.
This is respecting, some real artists who are working in these fields for quite some time,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
That's a great point to make, and it's rarely ever talked about that I see. I mean, it might be, but maybe not in the areas that I'm in. But I follow, a lot of crypto and NFT Twitter, and I don't see enough people talking about that or making that distinction, or maybe it's just part of that few percent that are like, really into NFTs. Once we're in it, and I was for 2 years, it's like that's all everybody knows and talks about, and I forget that the rest of the world wasn't as attached. It was like 1% of us were very obsessed with it, and I still love the success that a lot of NFT projects are getting, but I'm sad to see so many projects having like dismantled or just disappearing. And there was a lot of, it was a really interesting time. And I think that that's where that generative artist line got blurred by generating Photoshop layers compared to generating, utilizing data. And that distinction was not, I feel like, clear enough to many. So I totally understand, your point, and you make a great point by saying that. So, what is, what's in the future for you? What's it for you and your brother for Back to Points? Is there anything interesting coming up this year for you? Any exhibitions or, big pieces that you're looking forward to doing or are working on right now?
We have recently completed a special project for our one of our collectors. Unfortunately, even though she's a big name, unfortunately, I won't be able to give her name.
It's okay.
That's confidential
I believe.
thing. Actually, that artwork is based on past, present, and future. She demanded a special version of that, which is tailored for her uh, big walls and longer duration. And now, after completing that, Tuna and me said, okay, now we can completely, change our direction and focus on that visualization of the earthquake data. It is going to be very long with three sequence. Now we are working on that. It will be more like Ryoji Ikeda, Ryoji Kurokawa style, but more like, Herman Kolgan. Have you ever heard about that? Herman Kolgan.
I
There
don't
is
think so.
another, let me write down his name, if there is a space here. Okay, right. Herman Kolgan. Yeah. We love his works a lot. So it will be, I mean, its aesthetic will be a combination of, very complex structures, also some minimal spaces. We are thinking about that currently, how we can combine that complexity with minimalism. So it is not easy, and generally, mostly an artwork is either a minimal artwork or complex aesthetic, with
Yeah.
so many structures on it. So it's easy, but when you like to, think of an artwork as a combination of buff, that's not an easy thing. Also, we are thinking about the readability of the data. This is important because, uh, you know, data visualization is all about, you know, reading data, but it is not like you read data on a document. So it's a totally different
Mhm.
thing when it comes to contemporary art or animation. So this is the very first thing you have to ask yourselves, whether or not you will be very abstract, whether or not you will give some clues to your audience so that he or she could read your data. We are also thinking about that. To what extent,
Mhm.
you know, we should give these clues. So I think it also this will be like there will be some spaces on the work. You know, we will give these clues, and then after cluing these clues, the audience will be able to, you know, make sense of, you know, the whole complexity of data. So there are some schedules, but so it is very raw currently. I think next month we will anymore start working on it because it will really take some time, like for 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
So we have to be very scheduled. We
Yeah.
have to go a very clear cut schedule so that we can complete it because there are so many data and we don't know, maybe at one point we might need to train the data
Mhm.
to get some patterns, you know.
Yeah.
So let's see, let's see.
That sounds
Another,
really exciting.
yes, yes, yes,
And you
for
seem
us to
excited
have.
about it, which is even more exciting. I think it's super just you can that's why I like talking about pieces of artwork with artists because you can't tell the excitement even when there's just a written description of what you're going through and what this really means. I've done that with so many artists, thought it looked and meant one thing, but it was so much deeper. And I think that that's the important part of having artists live at exhibitions and creating that emotional connection and just going as deep as you can into description of your artwork on our platform, on any platform. Do that's you out in the world, that's your statement. And I think having that emotional connection with any piece of art is just more of that tale to tell, and really great to be able to show that to other people and say that, this is what this means. So that's really exciting, and I can't wait to see that when it comes out.
Sure, we are too, we are too, me too.
Can you tell everybody where they can find you? I'll put everything in the links as well. You can look up Back to Points in the search on Blackdove. And where can
Yes,
you?
they can check out our Twitter with, you know, at Backtopoints, also Instagram at Backtopoints. We have a special website, you know, tailored for desktop viewing rather than mobile viewing because, you know, our aim was to have a special, you know, website really reminding people of the 2000, you know, the early 2000, you know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe or the time of Flash,
Yeah.
backtopoints.com. Uh, our audience, also some newcomers, could visit these spaces. Aside from our presence on Blackdove, also still our artworks are being sold on Nifty Getaway in secondary market. And nowadays, I think we are one of the top artists, you know, of which the
Wow.
works are being sold on Nifty Getaway very actively. So that's
That's
quite
awesome.
good in the whole decline in the market. Uh, Also, I don't know whether or not our collectors put our NFTs in the secondary market on Tezos. I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
because I mean last time when I checked out, they weren't being sold because they were keeping their our works in their collections. But if you know people if they want to buy our artworks, they can visit Nifty Getaway and they could check out the secondary sales. Even though we have some single edition artwork with some pricey tags. Also, we have some artworks with like 300 editions and
Yeah.
400 editions with, less pricey. So
Yeah.
we have artworks for any people who would like to buy our artworks. So more or less like that. I think they can also, I mean, we are quite active on Twitter. So
Right.
if they'd like to follow us very actively, as I said, at Backtopoints, both on Instagram and Twitter, we are very active on these spaces.
And if you are a owner of Backtopoints or buy a Backtopoints piece on an NFT marketplace, you can for free go and connect your wallet and play the artwork as well on Blackdove. And you can utilize it on any smart television or digital canvas and just hook up, connect your wallet through MetaMask or Wallet Connect and be able to play them right there, which is great for people that already own your artwork. And I love different forms of ownership. Some people just want to have NFTs and play them, but there's no simple place to go to play your NFTs that is just like easy to connect and press play. So yeah, I'm really excited to see more of your artwork, and I'm excited to highlight you for the week and share all of these really deep feeling, undulating, very cool pieces. So some of my favorite works that have been recently uploaded, and to just see more of your work as your career progresses. And I appreciate you so much for coming today and spending this time with
Thank you a
me.
lot for having us. Thank you a lot for having
Yeah,
us.
of
So
course.
it's been a great conversation, and thank you a lot for giving us a space to, to reach out to so many people all over the world. I hope, both Blackdove and us and some other artists, we could reach a great audience there.
Totally. I appreciate you being on the platform and growing with us as a company.
Get
And yeah,
together. Get
looking forward to the next time that we talk and seeing your work out there in the world. I hope that you have a great afternoon.
You too. You too. Bye bye.
Bye.